Welcome, Josephina. Welcome, Sean. We'll give ourselves a few more minutes before we start the session. Welcome everyone joining to today's session. We'll just give it one more minute before we get started to allow a few more folks to join. All right, so we'll get started. It looks like we have a small group, so we'll keep it informal and intimate. Thank you, everyone. Good morning. Thank you for joining us today. Today's workshop on the American Short-Term Study in China Initiative. My name is Ishrat Jahan. I'm the Senior Manager of Education at Sannam S4 and based in the United States. And I will serve as your moderator today and help you and kind of run the questions back and forth with our panelists today. For those of you new to Sannam S4, just a little bit about who we are. We are a market entry and expansion firm supporting higher education with their internationalization goals. And if you have more questions about that, we're happy to answer that as well. Before I introduce Sufei Li, I will just give a little bit of housekeeping. As you'll see, this session is being recorded. And if you are ready with your questions, welcome to type them into the chat box. And into the chat box and the Q&A as well. And we will take those questions from there. We do have some questions that have already come in, so we're going to use those as well. So we'll go back and forth between questions you may have as well. And with that, I introduce Sufei Li. She's our Senior Manager at Sannam S4 and our China expert. Sufei, I turn it over to you.
Thank you, Ishra. Thank you, everybody, for coming to our workshop. And I can see some of you have already attended our previous webinar series regarding the China scholarship opportunities. And sorry, I'm Sufei Li, and I'm the Senior Manager for China with Sannam S4. And as I mentioned that we did three webinars, and the first webinar is about the American short-term study in China initiatives. With the support with the Chinese Embassy in Washington, DC, we would like to invite, first invite Ms. Gulei, the First Secretary of Education, to give us a quick update about the scholarship program, because I do see some new people here. And then we will invite Scott Pearson from University of Wisconsin-Stout and Julie Whitlow from Salem State University. They will share, because their universities are already participated into the program and they're in the process, and they have some good experiences to talk with us, and hopefully that we could, since this is a smaller group, we could have a discussion and we will answer questions using today's opportunity through the chat box. And if you want, we'll try to see if we can bring you up live to ask questions and share if you have any thoughts. So first, I would like to turn to Guideline to ask her to give us a quick update about the program.
Thank you, Sophie. I'm Guideline from the Chinese Embassy Education Office. It's my great pleasure to be here to introduce the American Short-Term Study in China initiative. This is a brand new scholarship program, and it is offered by Chinese Embassy in cooperation with ASSCU and ASSCU. And the application process is managed and supported by Sannam S4. And this program can be a pre-existing or newly developed study abroad program, and it needs joint effort from both the American and Chinese institutions. The program must be co-designed and co-taught with the Chinese partner, and the Chinese partner institution must be recognized by China Scholarship Council. And this is a faculty-led program, and that means the proposal must be submitted by the faculty member of the American institution. And the scholarships are given to students enrolled at American institutions, except Chinese citizens. And it can include 6 to 30 students. And this program is a credit program. That means the credit is recognized and transferable to the American institution. And the duration of the program is 4 weeks long to 1 academic year. And our scholarship will cover tuition at Chinese institution, on-campus accommodation, health insurance, monthly stipend. It does not cover tuition at American institution, international airfare, and the China visa application fees. Since this is a brand new program, you may encounter some problems during the application. So you are always free to contact Sophie or me about any questions. We are very glad to answer all the questions and help you to solve the problems. Thank you. Back to you, Sophie.
Thank you, Guideline. I think this is a good way to start, and that's the purpose. We want to start with this workshop today, because after our webinar a couple of weeks ago, we do receive quite a few questions, and we put on some information through the link. We shared it with all the participants, but we have also some good suggestions that how our participating institutions would like to use this opportunity. So I would like to introduce our 2 speakers. Previously, we invited 3 speakers, but 1 speaker has a family emergency she needs to handle. So she's probably sending some representatives to this webinar, and they might be able to answer or ask questions or answer questions. But I would like to give the floor to our 2 speakers first to introduce Scott, and Julie to introduce yourself. And then I think the best way to start is we might have some questions. People already start to ask questions now. So let's go with the Q&A format, and we welcome you ask any questions. There's no stupid questions or then the good questions or bad questions. So any questions are welcome here because this is really new to everybody. And we like to learn a lot from you to make the program better during the implementation process. So Scott, you want to say a few words about yourself, and then Julie, just give a quick introduction of yourself.
Sure. Yeah. Well, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Scott Pearson. I'm the director of the Office of International Education at the University of Wisconsin-Stout. We have been, engaged in quite a few faculty-led programs over the last few years. Pre-pandemic, China has been a focus. We've been running a couple programs here and there every other year to China. Stout is involved also with a collaboration that Sufei helps to coordinate with the American Association of State Colleges and Universities and Sannam S4, as well as the CCIEE in China, our counterparts there. It's a dual degree program. We started about 3 years ago, and the intent is to build on these relationships and not only receive students from China, but to send U.S. students overseas to China. So we're very, very excited to be invited to talk about how this scholarship can play into our university here at UW Stout and provide enriching opportunities for our students to have the overseas experience as well. So thanks for the invite, Sufei.
Julie, please.
Thank you, everyone. Hello, my name is Julie Whitlow, and I am the Assistant Provost for Global Engagement at Salem State University, which is in Massachusetts. Similar to Scott, Salem State does have a faculty-led trip program, and we also have been involved with the Sino-American 1+2+1 CCIEE ASSCU dual degree program since 2008. So we have actually never led a faculty-led trip to China, although our largest number of international students are from China. So I think that this is an ideal opportunity for us to complete our exchange and work with one of our partners in the CCIEE program, and to give our students who may never have the opportunity to travel to China this wonderful chance to see China and experience all that this scholarship program can offer.
Thank you, Julie. Thank you, Scott. Sufei, would you like to start with the questions?
Yeah? Yes, please. Yes.
So our first question is from Catherine Conrad. She has two questions on behalf of her faculty at the College of Music at UNT. The question is, if on-campus accommodation isn't available in June at Shanghai, for example, Shanghai University, for example, can the funding cover other housing options? Sufei, would you like to see who?
Yeah. Gulei, I would like to see if you could answer these questions, because my understanding is the scholarship should cover the accommodations when the students get onto the campus. But this question is, if it is not available, what is the solution then?
I think the scholarship could cover the on-campus accommodation, and there must be some fees can cover the accommodation, right? If the university in Shanghai cannot offer the accommodation, then you can find another place to just have that, I think, any hotel nearby. And then you can discuss with the university in Shanghai about this. Then they can just pay for it because they have the money for that. Yeah, I think this might be a solution for that.
Thank you, because I think so. From my understanding is that when you design a program, you work with the partner institution to work out all the logistics. You're worried about the housing, about even including some like outskirt, like excursions and all the activities, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you need to design that at first. Then I think you need to have that in mind. It may encounter any problem that you may cannot find the hotel, or you cannot find the right place to do any activity. and you need to plan for the extra money for that funding, right?
A follow-up to that question, what is the source of funding to the Chinese partner university? Who will they receive money directly from?
It's the China Scholarship Council who will give the money to the Chinese universities.
Thank you, Vera.
Can you clarify whether the proposal has to have a detailed budget? Because I didn't see that in the request for the proposal.
I think the proposal, yeah, Sophie.
I don't think we have this in the proposal, and my understanding is we don't need to put the budget in the proposal at this time. And but you probably need to work out the detailed activities and let the Chinese university and CSC work out based upon the proposal, but activity proposal for the budget. Because I understand that there's a set fees for the tuition, room and board, and insurance, and but if you have add-on activities, it's as a part of the program, you probably need to put all the details, as much detail as possible, and let the Chinese university work with the CSC for this the budget of the activities.
The next question I will pull up is from our bank is, how would this scholarship be applied to your institution's study abroad and faculty-led program model? Scott, I'll hand that over to you to answer.
Sure, great. So how we operate here at the University of Wisconsin-Stout is on a cost recovery basis. So basically what we do when we have study abroad programming on a short-term basis, we do not charge our students our traditional tuition and fee structure. What we do is we will hire essentially a faculty leader who will teach a class overseas, and we're calculating all of the costs that are involved in that faculty leader. So what does it cost for airfare? What does it cost for living expenses? And then what does it cost for compensation to teach a course, right? So we have all that total and we divide it by the number of students that participate and arrive at, you know, a number that's a shared portion for each student. Then there's the student expenses, right? So there's airfare, there's a visa fee, there's travel, living expenses in country. When we build up the two models or the two components with the faculty as well as the student, we arrive at a program fee for that particular course. Typically, it could be 3 credits or 6 credits. It depends on, you know, what we're going to be teaching in country. But that's how we do it. So we're basically building our program and working back down and dividing it by the number of students and arriving at our total. With this particular program, it's a really nice fit because a lot of the expenses in country are provided by the scholarship. So it's saving students a considerable amount. It's a huge subsidy. Here at Stout, and I think Julie probably could talk to this too, 80% of our students are on some form of need-based financial aid. So study abroad is often out of reach for a majority of our students. This would really help in allowing us to run a program in a very efficient manner. Sometimes our study abroad programming can cost $4,000 to $6,000 per program for maybe a 3-credit course. I have a feeling that when we add up all the numbers, we're going to be looking at around $2,000 to $3,000. So about half the cost if we were to be awarded this amazing opportunity, this amazing scholarship.
Thank you, Scott. I'll take another question. Josephina, would you like to turn on I'll give you permission to turn on your mic because I think you have a couple of questions. And one of them is, does the Chinese co-faculty have to be an instructor on record at the American university?
Hey, so thank you everyone for hosting this webinar. Yeah, I think we'll just start with that question, just because the course has to be offered 50-50 between the Chinese and American faculty. And I'm wondering, and it has to be offered for credit at Bemidji State University. Does the Chinese faculty, or in this case, we might have a team of Chinese faculty, do they have to be an instructor on the BSU side on our record?
I don't think they have to be, but they have to be your partner institutions, on the partner institutions, and the partner institution needs to be on the CSC sponsored school list.
Okay, yeah, that helps a lot. Then we don't have to go through sort of the hiring process for the Chinese faculty. And so in my conversation with our Chinese partner, we've brought up requests of, for example, adding some cultural excursion experience into this whole program. And since they're basically building a special 4-week study abroad program for us, this is not like Chinese student attending a Chinese school. So how is that tuition rate determined, and can it include some of these program fees for excursion and other experiential learning opportunities?
Gule, you want to answer that? And then if Julie or Scott has something, you can just share how do your programs include those, or how do you work out that?
I believe that if you have some Chinese culture experiences designed in that course, and then you need to discuss it with your Chinese partner and how much of this kind of experience, just like how many hours will it take, and then you need to just discuss with them about the basic cost of the experience, and you can just do it into the budget. Then you submit it to just include it in the proposal, and we can just submit it to CSC to see whether they approve it or not. This is my idea, and I need to communicate with CSC people as well to discuss about this later.
Thank you, thank you. So I guess last question from me, and just as me and my co-faculty are getting the approval, getting the forms signed through our upper administration, and there's a sentence on that approval form that says the institution/partner, if the proposal approved and accepted, will support the enrolled students with financial resources for international travel and visa application expenses. So that is immediately putting a pause and hesitation on, the dean, who says, well, then can you provide how we're going to be financially responsible for the students, when for most of the study abroad program, the students are responsible for finding their airfare and paying for that, and visa expenses. Will provide assistance, but not financial support. So is that form editable? Can we take that language out or change it somehow to make it a little less scarier for our deans to sign on, thinking that they have to pay for all those expenses for our students? So yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Josephina. I think this is a good question. And the way when we design, trying to put some language, is we want to make sure the university, from study abroad office to the deans and the academic departments, are aware of this program, will support the program, and will help students to find the financial support to participate into the program. We might need to adjust it. You choose a different wording for this form. Actually, that's a good suggestion, because we want we want a university the university participating in the program, not just the individual students. So that's a good suggestion. We might think about what is the word that make students feel they are responsible for it, because we understand that's probably it's the international airfare and the visa fees are the two major costs for the students to participate into the program. Plus, if there's a register, if it's your 3-credit course, then the student needs to apply to get the financial loan or pay for the tuition. But the actual out-of-pocket cost will be the international airfare and the visa fees, because the rest is covered when they arrive in China on the Chinese campuses. So that's a good suggestion. We'll look at those wording and see what is the way to put it there. Will not have the things scared. We don't think it. We ask the university to pay for it. Whatever you usually do for the study abroad program, that's where apply. That might be the only answer I could give here.
And I also suggest that the form have a variety of signatories that may not match up. So in the case of Salem State structure, the study abroad coordinator reports to me, I report to the provost. On the form, there's no place for me to sign the form. I have to go to the study abroad coordinator who, you know, so I think maybe you have an SIO type signature and then whoever that person reports to, you know, so sometimes the dean may not even know about it.
Thank you. That's another good question and a request, because the signature form is also for the purpose of getting all the parties involved in. And I understand each university has its own organizational structure. So we might put in a parenthesis, SIO, AVP, dean, coordinator. So whoever is your reporting direct boss should have the signature there. That's a good question. Thank you.
Thank you, Josephina, for your questions. Next, I'll ask Zinyu Tan. Zinyu has a lot of questions coming through, so I'll just ask you to turn on your microphone.
Hi, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, great. Nice to meet you all. My name is Xin Tan, and I am the Chinese director from Coastal Carolina University. So I'm completely new to this program, and I do believe this is really important what we are doing here. And I look forward to joining all of you in this initiative. My question is really basic. It's just for the team teaching part. Is that correct that the American students will be taught by the Chinese instructor at the Chinese university, and then in return, whoever leads the program, whoever goes to China with the student will teach the Chinese students there? Is this the team teaching requirement?
Who wants to answer? Scott, do you have experiences? Or Julie, you want to answer, or you add questions?
I was interpreting that it's more of a team teaching, so that ideally the Chinese students and the American students are in classes together. I think that is the main purpose of the program, is to have the students have a shared learning experience different ways of teaching, etc. I think it's up to the two faculty members to develop what that's going to look like. So it could be some days both of them are in the room. It could be some days one takes over one activity and then another. It could be that one leads a certain type of assignment and an excursion. So I think that all of that is to be determined. My opinion is that it would not be in anyone's best interest to not have the students be together. I think that is really going to be the most rewarding and impactful part of the program.
And adding on what Julie just mentioned, I think for our faculty to learn from faculty overseas in China is a great collaboration, a great opportunity. You know, how we were planning on handling is since the credit is being awarded by the Chinese institution, we would transfer in those credits to our university, and we already know how they will transfer in because our faculty is very involved in the course. So the learning objectives are in place. There's no question about how the course counts on our side. But you know, schools could handle that differently, and maybe you would have your students register for credit at your own institution, and the instructor of record is your faculty, not the Chinese faculty. Here at SOUT, it'll be most likely placeholder credits that we'll put on the student's account, whereas the transcript is received from the Chinese institution coming in, and we know again how to move about that part of the articulation. So. But yeah, it's going to provide a really amazing opportunity for students to connect and have this lived experience, form friendships, and for Julie and ourselves, what's so amazing about this is that the students will be coming to our school eventually as well. So our students can kind of reciprocate and return the hospitality that they receive when in China, when the students are here in the United States.
Well, thank you both, Julie and Scott, for your answers. And I think what Scott, you just mentioned about doing this exchange is wonderful, you know, to have this eventually develop into a two-way program. And then this is really interesting. Thank you.
Zinnia, did you have additional questions, or have we answered all your questions since we're a small group?
Yeah, I actually do have another one. I did read the information about the scholarship on the website Su Fei sent me prior to the meeting. So it didn't really mention how the American faculty would get paid for this, you know, for leading the program, because we do have faculty-led programs in our institution, and usually, you know, faculty would get paid by the credits they teach from the university. And also, I assume part of the fund comes from students, you know, tuition and what students contribute financially to the program. Since this program is covered by the, you know, scholarship, do you have any information regarding how American faculty can get paid?
On the website, we said that the faculties are not covered. The faculty expenses are not covered by the scholarship. The scholarship only goes to the students. So Gule, do you want to emphasize, or do you want to restate what is the scholarship will cover, or how does it work?
Yeah, the scholarship will only cover for the students tuition, accommodation, and health insurance, and also the pocket money, and when they arrive in China. So it does not cover anything else. We do not cover the expenses of the faculty members. So I'm not quite sure how the faculty will be paid in the American institution about this course. I'm not very clear about this.
Thank you, Gule. I think Scott previously also mentioned that how they use this opportunity to build around with the cost budget to cover the faculty's expenses. But each university is different. If this is the existing program, a study abroad program on your campus, you probably have the budget or have the plan for the faculty to offer the course. But with using this scholarship, the students in the program will be covered by the scholarships, and the faculty probably just follow the existing study abroad program with the budget.
We also have Darla on the line from Coastal Carolina University, and she says she can't speak to how they've done this to pay faculty with education abroad for China. Darla, I've given you permission to speak. Would you like to?
Thank you. Yeah, thank you all for this wonderful opportunity. And just amazing thanks to the government of the People's Republic of China for making this opportunity available so that more and more of the students from here in the US get the opportunity to meet and interact with the citizens, the societies and communities in China. For the faculty compensation, well, each university certainly has its own model. We found that the sustainable models adopt a similar practice to how faculty compensation in the summer, if they were to stay at home, works. So for our campus, that's 2.5% of their 9-month salary on a per credit hour. So if the credit course that is being co-taught with the Chinese partnership is a 3 credit hour course, for example, then the faculty member here would be compensated at 7.5%. And then their costs of per diem and the air ticket and so forth calculated and run just as was mentioned earlier by Scott, and then allocated across those students. So while the students' fees outside of the wonderful coverage of costs on the ground there in China won't be zero, they certainly would be substantially less than if the program were to be built de novo by the university. Secondly, I think it's really, having done this with our partners in Beijing before, I would say this is a wonderful opportunity to discuss where our expertise points that are an area that our Chinese partner has really deep expertise in, and where are the complementary pieces that we have, so that in that course development, it's really tapping the multiple skill sets to build for all students, the students in China and the students coming from the US institution, a very holistic and beneficial experience that brings about great value. And finally, I'd note that at least in the past exercises of this, where I was one of the teachers for one of them, we also then talked about how could we share and do talks for other students at the university there as well, because this is a part of our giving as a part of, we're receiving quite a great deal in this effort. And so we as US universities can also be ready to participate more fully.
Well, thank you so much, Darla, for your answers to my question, and everything seems a lot more clear now. Thank you.
That's great. Thank you, Darla.
I'll ask Catherine Conrad to ask her questions as well. She's asked quite a few, so Catherine, I've given you permission to speak, so feel free.
Great, thank you. Yes, my name is Catherine. I work at the University of North Texas. I'm the faculty-led programs coordinator, so I would be working with both the US faculty member and the Chinese faculty member as we kind of put the proposal together. So one of my questions actually is coming from a question that was previously asked, and Julie, you touched on this a little bit about the idea of envisioning American and Chinese students being taught together by both the American and Chinese faculty members. So with that, is there an expectation that the Chinese students who are in this course with the American students would be expected to receive credit from the US institution that they're partnering with? And if so, would the Chinese students be paying the US institution's tuition? That's kind of the question that came up from what I was listening to.
Gulei, do you have any thoughts about the second part of Catherine's question? Is that this is a new question? Thank you. So I want to give it to you first, and then Julie had some thoughts about to share. Do you know, will this be also the Chinese, if the Chinese students in this program, are they sign up on the US courses? Or that's really a good question.
Yes, I agree. That's a really good question. And we actually haven't thought about this before. The Chinese students, they participate in this program. They need to register for this, and they cannot get the scholarship. And I think they can get the credit based on the Chinese university, and also they should get the credit from the American university as well. And if they, but I'm not quite sure whether they need to pay for it. this is a very good question. We need to clarify it with the Chinese side, whether they need to pay for the course. Yeah.
If I
Thank
may
you.
add, I think that would be quite costly if they were charged the U.S. Per credit rate.
Right, the international credit rate. Yeah.
Right. I think it probably would be best if they were to receive credit from their home institution in China. And for our students as well, if the tuition is covered from the Chinese credit side, that would transfer in nicely and the students wouldn't have to pay anything extra on our side to make that work. It would just be basically the program costs and how we define our faculty-led programming that they would be covering.
Okay, great, thank you.
Zinni, did you have any other questions as well?
No, thank you. I think I asked the questions. Yeah, and I actually do have one. Is there any way to reach Scott and Julie later after this meeting? Because both of them you are really experienced, and if I am planning to do this, I think it would be helpful to stay in touch.
I'll connect you. No
Okay,
problem. Yes.
I just put my email in the chat as well. But yes, feel free to contact me anytime. I'd be happy to meet or share what I know. To be clear, this scholarship program is new to all of us. So our experience comes with doing faculty-led programs and having experience with our partner in China through mainly the one-to-one CCIEE program. I just wanted to add that I agree with Scott that it would be very, very burdensome to try to get the Chinese students registered in the US courses. I agree with Scott that the model that we're going to propose is that the credit is going to come from our partner, Nanjing Normal University, and transfer in to Salem State as study abroad credit. I think that despite the wonderful help of the scholarship, this is still an expensive proposition for our students to spend a month in China to pay for the airfare, to pay for the visa, and in the case of our students who virtually all work, to give up their jobs for that amount of time. So we're going to try to make it as cost effective as possible for the students. But I believe that our university is going to have to be contributing quite a bit for the faculty support in terms of paying the faculty teaching stipend, paying the faculty airfare, per diem expenses. So I think that unless you have a very, very good model to have the students pay, we are not going to transfer those costs to the students. We are going to try to make this as affordable as possible to get students to want to take advantage of this opportunity.
And Julie, if I may add on your comments, I think one of the opportunities we see is to have the program dates align with the end of our spring semester. So we would kind of start as early as possible so our students could experience 4 weeks in China and then return early June to still have June, July, and August to maybe engage in internship or other work opportunities that they might depend on before the fall semester begins. So we know that a 4-week period is a little bit longer than our typical faculty-led model, but it's also a very, very wonderful opportunity with almost all expenses covered when they're on the ground in China. And we've always seen that the longer the programming can be, the more the students are going to benefit from the experience. So again, we're very, very excited that this is an opportunity.
I think an area for us to all think about as well with our partner is the level of English of both the Chinese faculty and the Chinese students. Our partner happens to be in an English department, so that makes our dilemma there much less burdensome. So we are envisioning the students and faculty in China being able to both deliver and and participate in the courses at a high level of English. So I think that's certainly something that you should consider.
Thank you, Julie. Thank you, Scott. I've unmuted a few of the other attendees as well. If you have any questions, feel free to raise your questions and you can turn on your mic to do so. Darla, I do see that you had posted additional questions. I just want to ensure that your questions were all answered.
Yeah, I was just curious, the document that the administration is asked to sign off on stipulates that that they agree to the proposal. My question is, it looks like since the proposal itself is a Google Doc, will it download and allow people to come back, like they can download everything, fill it in, let it print out to them so that they have the full thing? Because certainly any sign off that I think certainly for our administration would require that they have whatever they're stipulating that they agree to is attached to what they're signing. So does the document then come to the person in an email? And then I guess the second question is it would not then be complete. So would it allow them to kind of go back in and, adjust it based upon what their administrative chain, was comfortable with in the review?
Good question, Dara. We'll work out with our technical department and make it as you suggested. I think there's a good requests and it makes a lot of sense. Thank you. I got a note already.
I shared over also an email with some suggestions on that on the administrative sign off, because I know I understand the question that was raised earlier. I think if that language can move over to if it's successful and if it meets the parameters of a GO program, which I suspect every institution has, that you go if this, but you don't go if fewer than that, then to state that the university would either obtain or coordinate such that those resources were available. And so anyway, I emailed it over with just some thoughts, but I think that would be very helpful to a more enlightened sign off rather than a lot of things moving between Sannam and individual universities to renegotiate the language.
Okay, got it. Thank you. Those are all good questions.
I will pull up a question from the bank that we have for questions that came in earlier. With tensions so high between US and China, is now a good time to consider this opportunity for an educational exchange program to China? Sufei, would you like to tackle that and then pass it on?
Yes, I think that was the question provided. I don't know if our people available talk. It was question raised by one of our speakers. So anybody you want to share, or Julie, you want to have a touch base on that question?
Well, I mean, I think we're living in precarious times all around, right? The pandemic has not ended. I think China and the US have been successful in different ways at present with making people feel comfortable that the pandemic may be subsiding, but certainly we look around the world and it's not. I think the political tensions between China and the US have existed at some level for 100 years and are probably going to continue to exist. My own opinion is that we're all in this work because when people get to know each other on a personal basis, is when some of those stereotypes and misperceptions and othering different people start to dissolve. So I think that the risks are minimal in terms of political tensions. I think the risks in terms of the pandemic are of moderate significance. And I think the risks of something else random going wrong, like a broken leg or food poisoning, are much higher. So the things I worry about are our students getting to China and feeling that they're in such an alien environment that they want to come home. That concerns me a lot more than geopolitical tensions. But Scott, maybe you have a different.
No, I would agree with your comments. I think from a first-hand basis, having been to China multiple times, it's a very different experience when you can go and experience and enjoy the hospitality and try so many amazing foods and really live the culture firsthand. So I've only had positive experiences. And I know that when our students have similarly positive experiences, whether that be faculty or people who have those experiences leading the programs, it's going to be a very, very engaging and positive experience for them as well. So I look forward to it. And I think with the current state of affairs, it just goes to show how ever important these opportunities are. We have to do our best to make sure that our students are engaging people to people, and they're able to put aside politics and put aside what they're seeing in the news and in the media and make these friendships, because they're the future, right? They're our future for both countries. And when they do have a positive experience and they can make those connections, it's going to make both societies better in the end. And we've seen that. I know the current president of China had the opportunity to do a homestay in Iowa and had a very meaningful experience there. And on one of his first trips in leadership back to the United States, he had the opportunity to visit his homestay family. So those kinds of experiences, those impressions are lifelong. And I think if we can get our students to take part, it's going to be in our best interest for both countries moving forward.
Thank you. I really think that's great comments. And I do feel like, as Julie and Scott mentioned, that from historically, we can see even there are a couple of periods of time that China-US have those political tensions, but the people-to-people exchange at the grassroots level, at the institutional level, is never stopped. And so with the people here today, like us, doing all the work, contributing to this friendship, and we are the one here working very hard to bring the two countries close again. And we are all doing our work here. So I think that's really, and especially right now, we have this, the structure of the work. And sometimes we use, we have kind of ways to work around and to make it happen through the like a local, non-political, or like a people-to-people exchange, as Scott mentioned about. So we feel this is the reason why we like to do that, because we feel this is a great opportunity to provide through various channel support to the American students, the opportunity to work with, to learn about China, to know what the Chinese language and culture, and to provide also opportunity for the faculty members to engage together through the academic exchanges. So I think this is, that's why we're doing here, we're all here to do the work. Isra, do we have more questions?
Moment we do not, and I'll give a last opportunity to see if there are any more questions, and we are close to our time.
I would like to, because I know there are some questions at the chat box, and Isra, could you share the link about the program? So I want to use this last few minutes to quickly to show those, if you haven't looked at this, what is the application look like, and where are the important part of it, and how we expect. So so when you go back, and we will, it will be easier for you. This is the web link you probably got from the emails, and it sits in the Sannam S4's website. It has all the, could you slowly from the top? It talks about what this program is, the program description, and the details, what the scholarship covers, and who are eligible to apply for the scholarship, and how to do the proposal. But the proposal submission is a guideline, is where you probably need to read it carefully. Could you click into the proposal form? Okay, go to the top. And this is the one form. Darla, just one of the participants mentioned about. This is where you need to start. There are 3 parts of it. One part is about the faculty who is going to submit the proposal, about your information, about your university, about how we contact you. Then keep going down slowly. And then the second part is about the program itself, because it's a faculty-led study abroad program. So we're interested in to know about the program. What is the name of the program? Some people, it's the course name or the program name. And if you're working with China, is there a Chinese name? What is the Chinese side of talking about this program? And then who are your partner institutions? When do you expect to start with the program? How many do you expect to offer the program, the spring session and the fall session, or it's just once a year or twice a year? How many credits you designed for your students? What is this for undergraduate or graduate level? And how many students you expect to, like a maximum, I can only take 15 or 20. So we need this kind of information. And then the third part, the third part is also, there are more here. And then general program description. With this short film, with this short field, we want you to put it in. And we also like you to provide, like you could use a Word document to offer the program background, what is the history connection for you to work with the university? How do you start to, what is the logic for you design this program? What do you expect to achieve getting out of this program? So with the course description and then with the course title, academic goals, okay, go up a little bit, sorry. Go back. Yes. You designed it, basically it's the design of the program with the short field for you to fill in the quick answers, and with a Word format with the whole description, because we are going to have a selection committee. This is open to all the American universities. So we like to get as much information about the program as possible. And with the selection committee, how do they evaluate your program to recommend it to the CSC to award the scholarship? So that's where the form here is for, and we need as much information as possible. Could you go down a little, going down? So here is, and the teaching faculty name, and also the institution, the teaching faculty. So it's pretty much all the information we can think about it, or anything you think of your program is unique, like you have the excursions, you have field trips, you want to add it to it. So you can use those to use the form and use the attachment function to submit your proposal. And then once you're done, then you can submit and add a file to it. And then the next important one is the signature one. We would probably think about how to reward the some request for your faculty to do it. But the purpose of this is to get all the parties from the US side and from the Chinese side, we agreed upon this is a course that we're going to work together from both sides with the faculty leading, and we'll get the credits to the students, and we'll get the university study abroad office support, the university support to help the students from the beginning to the end with the transfer credits. So that is the purpose of this one. We hope that if we could work out technically, it will allow you to have the signature on the same page, that everybody's signature on the same page. But currently, it will be as a attached document to submit together. the next one, Isha, is for the, could you go back to the program instead of, yes. So this is the proposal submission guideline. And then some institutions, yes, okay, let's stop here. So there's another function we can provide help is some faculties maybe have existing study abroad program. You've been running it for years, and you bring the students to China, and you work with through third party or through some people you've been working with, but you don't have a partner working on this joint co-design of the program. And if you don't have one, you're looking for, you want us to help you to find one. Here is if you can click on the, please complete the institutional partner request form by clicking here. Yes, that's the function. When you click on, you get this one. This is the form we want you, that if you're, you need a partner. So here's the form that you fill out. The first part is similar to the one as your proposal submission part. We need to know about your institution, about the program, and about how many credits you want. It's the details about the program you are planning to do. Could you go down a little bit, Isha? And then, yes, here, okay, stop here. The, no, we're going down. Where's the Chinese part? The one. Oh, okay. And then the second part of the form is that if you have any specific request for university, for example, if you have contact with like Nanjing Normal, but you don't, you know there's a school and you like to work with Nanjing Normal, but you're not partnered with them, and or you like to see if can I offer this program with that university? So you can put it there. Or if you don't care with anybody, just say you can recommend anyone as long as it meets our program requirements. So just put it as anybody recommended. And then also, if you have any special, if you know this program is focused on the Chinese language learning, or it's about the, it doesn't have to be all the Chinese. You have a specialized like the Chinese a business, Chinese accounting. So if your study abroad program is trying to bring your students about learning about Chinese accounting system, you can say we request a faculty in this accounting department with a special focus. Or if you have any like a special requirement, say we prefer to find a partner in the south part of China or in Shanghai, or we prefer to have a partner in Xi'an. So those fields are for you to put in, make anything you like to let us know. So it will help us to work with the Chinese partners to find a matching partner that will meet your requirements. And then with this form, we are also try to use a similar form through the embassy and through our partners in China to engage more Chinese universities with their faculties who are interested in working with us. So it will provide on both sides to help more opportunities basically to work with, to work on this program. And can you get back? So those are the three important part of the program here. I want to just show you. And the Q&A, we're adding more questions to the Q&A. Basically, it helps you to understand the program, which probably some of them are not stated in any of the program description, is the Q&A part. And we'll keep adding to some good questions you raised today, probably will be, we'll add it to the Q&A. So I think I just want to quickly stop here. This is the link. I hope you can keep it. Or if you have any questions that about the technical questions, how we do this, and what what I'm supposed to put here, this is the website that you can use as a trying to see if you can find the answer. If no, then just email us. Okay, I'll stop here, Isha.
Thank you, Sufei. And I think that's about time. And if there are additional questions, I know Zinnia had some additional comments and questions, and there's the dialogue and the discussion can continue. However, we are of time today, and Sufei is always available to help address these questions. I want to thank Scott, Julie, and of course, Gule for joining us today. And Sufei, thank you for facilitating this workshop as well. And with that, thank you everyone, and have a great afternoon.
Thank you, Ishra. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you all.